Good day everyone, I am Marnet from English 2B and we're going to talk about Taoism. Taoism, also known as Taoism, is a Chinese philosophy attributed to Lao Tzu, which contributed to the folk religion of the people primarily in the rural areas of China and became the official religion of the country under the Tang Dynasty. Taoism is therefore both a philosophy and a religion. It emphasizes doing what is natural and going with the flow in accordance with the Tao, a cosmic force which flows through all the things and binds and releases them. Taoism was expounded by Lao Tzu during the Tzu Dynasty. Taoist beliefs and influences are an important part of classical Chinese culture. Why? Because the main purpose of Taoism is the pursuit of immorality, immoral, and saving the world. Morality is the highest belief in the Taoism, and the morality is primitive metaplasia of all things. In traditional Chinese culture, Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism together occupy a dominant position in the tourism practices related to seek ways to become gods. The Tao or the way means the natural course that the world follows. Taoists view the Tao as a connection that makes all life and movement in nature possible. They believe that when a person lives out their life on earth, the Tao returns them to heaven. The Tao is composed of two opposite energies called Yin and Yang. Taoists believe everything in existence has the characteristics of both the Yin and the Yang. The Yin is cold, dark, and mysterious. The Yang is warm, bright, and positive. The interaction of the Yin and the Yang are revealed in changes. These changes include the seasons along with the flowering of living things and their eventual decay. To follow the Tao or to go with the flow is both wisdom and happiness. For the Taoist, unhappiness comes from parting the Tao or from trying to float it. Does anyone want to be unhappy or to be sad? For me, no one. So, I think we must just go with the flow because I believe that everything's happened for a reason. Taoist political ideas are very passive. The good king does nothing. And by this, everything is done naturally. This idea presents an interesting point to Confucian theories of state. Although the Taoists never represented any political threat to the Confucianists. Whereas Confucianism stressed conformity and reason in solving human problems, Taoism stressed the individual and the need for human beings to conform to nature rather than society. The focus of Taoism is the individual in nature rather than the individual in society. It holds that the goal of life for each individual is to find one's own personal adjustment to the rhythm of the natural world and to follow the way of the universe. In many ways, the opposite of rigid Confucian moralism, Taoism served many of its adherents as a complement to their ordered daily lives. A scholar on duty as an official world usually follow Confucian teachings, but at leisure or in retirement, might seek harmony with nature as a Taoist recluse. Lao Tzu, known as the Old Philosopher, also known as Lao Tzu or Lao Tse, was a Chinese philosopher credited with founding the philosophical system of Taoism. He is best known as the author of the Tao Te Ching, the work which exemplifies his thought. But the name of Lao Tzu is not a personal name, but an honorific title meaning old man or old teacher. And there has been countless speculation as to whether an individual by that name ever existed or whether Lao Tzu is an amalgam of many different philosophers. The Tao Te Ching, classic of the Way of Power, is believed to have been written between the 8th and 3rd centuries BC. The basic concept of the Tao is Wu Wei or non-action, which means no unnatural action, rather than complete passivity. It is a very short book. The Tao Te Ching recommends bending to accommodate rather than breaking under the stresses of life. The book discourages learning or ambition, instead stressing that we should live according to our nature. It places nature above culture, and a solitary individual above society. According to Tao Te Ching, inaction is better than action. Realize the simple self. Banish wisdom, discard knowledge, and the people shall profit 100-fold. Banish love, discard justice, and the people shall recover the love of their king. Banish cunning, discard utility, and the thieves and brigands shall disappear. As the street touch the externals and are inadequate, The people have need of what they can depend upon. Reveal the simple self. Embrace the original nature. Check thy selfishness. Curtail thy desires. Banish wisdom, discard knowledge, and the people shall profit 100-fold. Lao is speaking of intellectual, wisdom, and knowledge, both social and religious, that have been put into our heads from various sources that have in no way proved the validity of that which they have imposed on us. It is very difficult for us to sweep away all the things we have been told from childhood, because it means rejection of the authority or trustworthiness of those that cram in them into our heads. Moreover, it is much easier for the mentally and morally lazy to accept the cliché society and religion run on, and thus avoid any conflict or the pain of training the brain to figure out what is really wisdom and knowledge. But those who do toss aside mere words and seek experience of reality shall profit 100-fold. Banish cunning, discard utility, and the thieves and brigands shall disappear. People can be very creative in justifying their foolishness and in reasoning themselves out of good sense. They are equally skilled in demonstrating how practical and beneficial their desires and whims are. It's all for the best. Really is even good, much less best. This is good in conforming to wrong on many levels, especially social, rather than rejecting the false and holding to the real and consequently getting censured and even in trouble with them. It is sad but true that we are usually ourselves the thieves and brigands that plunder our spiritual treasure of divine potential. As these three touch the external and are inadequate, the people have need of what they can depend upon. These three rules, though of great value, yet lack the supreme value because they deal with our response to external factors, leaving aside internal matters. Thus, they are inadequate because we must build our life structure on bedrock reality to be secure and at peace. So, Lao Tzu gives us 4 rules to ensure this. Reveal the simple self. We must put ourselves in touch with our essential being. Really come to know ourselves by removing the veils that hide it. The self being interior in nature. This requires an interior life, in other words, meditation. And our meditation practice should be putting us in touch with the self immediately, not in some faraway time. It may not give us instant and total enlightenment, but it should certainly begin the process right away. We should come out of our first meditation having touched at least the periphery of ourselves, and things should increase from there. We must not stop until the self is fully revealed or realized. Embrace the original nature. We must not just experience the self. We must embrace it by making it manifest in our entire life. By establishing ourselves in self-knowledge, outside meditation as well as in meditation. We must live out what we perceive inwardly, and if our inner experience is real, it will be natural and easy. Check thy selfishness. Do not pay attention to the ego. Just forget it, drop it, and all egotism will vanish in the newly revealed self. Be intent on that eternal reality, and the ego and its delusive realm will simply vanish. Curtail thy desires. Again, do this by being satisfied and fulfilled in the self. Desire the self. That will end all desires. Buddhism was important from India during the Han Dynasty. Buddhist thought stresses the importance of ridding oneself of earthly desires and of seeking ultimate peace and enlightenment through detachment. The Buddhist meaning of detachment is slightly different from the word normally means in English. Detachment in Buddhism is connected with renunciation. The word renunciation in English is also misleading, for it implies that we have to give up everything and go live in a cave. The word that has been translated as renunciation actually means the determination to be free. We have a strong determination. I must get out of my own problems and difficulties. My mind is totally firm on that goal. We want to give up our ego games because we are determined to be free from all the problems they cause. This does not mean that we have to give up a comfortable house or the things that we enjoy. Rather, we are trying to stop the problems that we have in relation to these objects that leads us to detachment. Being detached does not mean that we cannot enjoy anything or enjoy being with anyone. Rather, it refers to the fact that clinging very strongly to anything or anyone causes us problems. We become dependent on that object or person and think, if I lose it or cannot always have it, I'm going to be miserable. Detachment means if I get the food I like, very nice. If I do not get it, okay. It is not the end of the world. There is no attachment or clinging to it. That's all. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something in our lesson. Thank you.